Welcome to Flash Tutorial Request 13 High-Low game. We're going to start a new FLA, Keeping Action Script 3. Okay. And the first thing we need to do is make a random number for this game where this computer selects a number and you have to guess the number, and it tells you whether you need to go higher or lower. So we'll start off with an actions layer, AS. Open that panel and type in type. This is the code. You may recognize it. It's going to generate a random number, and we're going to create a variable, var, select number, capital SELNUM, capital N, colon, number, capital N, that turns blue, equals 0, semicolon. So that's the variable that we're going to have our number in. Function, function, and we're calling this function getMC, capital G, ET, capital M, capital C, open, close bracket, colon, void, void is the same color as function, and open curly bracket for my function. And as soon as you start tightening, this closed curly bracket usually comes in with this CS5 program. So inside of this function, we're going to create a variable that will make our random number. var turns the same color as function, and we're calling this select ram, as in random number, capital SEL, capital RAM, colon, it's a number, capital NUMBER, that turns blue, equals math, period, random, capital M in math, small r in random, that will turn blue, open, close bracket, semicolon, and this is going to generate us a number. So now we're going to use that number and do something with it. So select num, that's that variable we made, is going to equal to, this is what's called the math round function, MATH, capital M, period, ROUND, that turns blue, open bracket. We're going to take that number that was generated, this math.random number, whatever is generated, and it generates a number between 0 and 1. We're going to multiply that, that's the asterisk, by 99. Then we're going to plus, add 1, close bracket, semicolon, and the easiest way to look at this is the lowest number it's going to generate is this 1. The highest number it's going to generate is the sum of them, so it's that's 100. So it's going to generate a number between 1 and 100, and we're going to see that that works by doing a trace, TRACE, that turns blue, open bracket, select num, that's that variable again, the one we just made a number, close bracket, semicolon, there's the closed curly bracket that's already there probably, and a function is no good unless you call it, and this calls that function. GET, capital G, capital M, capital C, open and close bracket, semicolon. So in our output panel, when I test this, we're going to have a number between 1 and 100. There's 37, for example. Back to the main timeline. Let's lock that layer, insert a layer, put the action script on top, call this layer guess, GUESS. This is my guess box. Guess box, and we're just going to, let's make our stage 50% so we get some perspective. Pick up your rectangle tool. We want to have no fill, so click this white with the red line through it, and I'm going with the black stroke and make a box for now. There it is, doesn't matter how big it is at this time. Lock that layer, insert a layer, call it guess, GUESS, guess value, VAL. This is the amount that I'm going to be guessing each time. capital V. Select that first frame with that guess val. Pick up your text tool and pick up a color here. I have red, I'm going to use that. And put it right inside of here. And I'm going to put in here 3 zeros, 0, 0, 0. And I want that text to be a little bit larger, so I'm opening the properties panel, making it just slightly larger so it'll fit the box when it's finished. There it is. I have Times New Roman, bold setting. Make sure that you have input text selected here, and call this guess, G-U-E-S-S _ TXT. We have to give it an instance name because I'm going to write code for it. And come down here where it says embedded, click that, and this panel will open up. Embed uppercases, lower cases, numbers, and punctuation. And right up here, you can't see it, but it's an OK. Click that, and we've embedded that text. Now, with your selection tool, highlight that, and using my arrow keys, I'm putting that inside my box. Select the guess val layer, insert a new layer, and call it text, T-E-X-T. And we're just going to write some text here. Let's pick up the red again in our text tool, and this time it has to be static text, so come over here, leave everything else the same, but make sure you click static. You don't have to embed it this time because it's already embedded. And in here we're going to write your guess, Y-O-U-R-G-U-E-S-S, and I'm going to make that longer, highlight it, and using my keys, and I think I'm going to make it a little bit a larger font. Oh, just slightly larger font. There. And pull this so it's all on one line, and moving it with my selection tool and moving it with my arrow keys. There we go. I'm happy with that. Now we need some kind of an event listener so that things can take place, and we're going to do that by making a button. So make sure all your layers are locked. Select the text layer, insert a layer, call it submit, SUBBTN, there's where our button's going to be. Select that first layer, or that first frame rather. Again, we're going to pick up our oval tool this time, and let's keep with the red theme and make an oval here. Pick up selection tool, highlight it, modify, convert it to a symbol, make sure movie clip is selected, call it sub SUB _ MC as in submit, copy that name, open the properties panel, and paste it in for an instance name. Close the panel, double click on it. Now we're inside that movie clip. Lock that layer, call this one button, B-U-T-T-O-N, that's the oval. Insert a layer, call it text, T-E-X-T, and let's pick up a color blue and the text tool and write submit, S-U-B-M-I-T. Let's go back to scene 1, lock the layers, open the actions panel, and now we got to write some code for that button we just made. Right here below this, get MC, put in a couple of spaces, and type. That's the button we just made, capital SUB _ MC, period. It's an event listener. Add event listener, small a, capital E, capital L, turns blue. Open bracket. It's a mouse event, capital M, capital E, that turns blue. Period. CLICK that's all capital letters. There's a comma, and I'm calling this function sub value, as in the value submitted. So capital SUB, capital VAL. I highlighted that and copied it. Close bracket, semicolon. Come down here, wrote in function, FUNCTION. That turns purple. Pasted in my sub val. Open bracket, event, EVENT, small e turns blue, colon, most event. You could just copy this, paste it in here. Close bracket, colon, void. Void turns the same color as function. And an open bracket for my function. There's the open curly bracket for this function we just made. And now let's have something take place when that submit button is hit, clicked. So type. And the first thing we do is an if turns purple. Open bracket. There's that text box we made, that input text box. So GUESS, capital G underscore TXT, period, text, TEXT, that will turn blue. So we're going to say if that box equals, two equal signs. And open bracket, select num, capital S, EL, capital NUM, close bracket. That's that variable that's generated with the random number. Period, toString, small t, capital S, that will turn blue. That's the format you need to display text with this CS5 ActionScript 3. There's an open and close bracket for the toString, and there's a close bracket for that if statement. There's the open curly bracket for the if, and we're going to trace TRACE, open bracket, quotations equals, quotations, that turns green, close bracket, semicolon, and there's the close bracket for that if statement. That's if they're equal, we'll trace equal. Now, you can copy this, copy it, paste it in, and what you got to do now is where you have these two equals, you just want a greater than sign. And where you got this trace, instead of tracing equals, trace lower. All right? And that means that your guess is too high, and it's going to tell you to go lower. Then you can make sure you got this second curly bracket here, this closed one. Then you can go here, paste it again. Now you want a less than sign, and you're going to put in here higher. And when you're finished, you should have two curly brackets. I'm just going to do an auto format. That's good. And I'm going to check for errors. No syntax errors. That's good. Doesn't mean there isn't any errors. So now let's test this. Now everything's taking place in the output panel. The number is 18, so let's guess 50. And it'll say lower, meaning I got to guess lower. So I'm going to drop all the way down to 15, and it's going to say higher. And I'm going to go up to, say, 20. Naturally, it's going to say lower. And I'm going to guess at this time 18, and it's going to say equals. So now what we got to do is have these displayed here, because nothing in the output panel gets displayed when you make your game up. Close that. Let's go back to the main timeline. Let's open up the actions panel. Now let's write the code that is going to allow us to display those highers and lowers. So I'm in this guess where things are equal. Right after this trace, type, and ANSWER, capital A underscore MC. This is a movie clip we're going to make. Period, go to and stop, small g, small t, capital A, capital S, open bracket 4, close bracket, semicolon. So we're going to have a movie clip called answer that frame 4 says you got it or something like that. So now let's get rid of that trace because we know that works. Copy this line. Come down here, paste it in, and I know this is going to be telling me that I need to go lower, and that's going to be frame 3. Change that to frame 3. Commenting that out. Just 2 forward slashes does that. Come down here, paste it again. This is going to take me to frame 2. And comment this out. Now we got to make that, we have to make that movie clip called Answer. Open your library panel. Come down here. I don't know if you can see it or not. It says new symbol. Click on that. Call it Answer. ANSWER_MC. And now we should be inside of that movie clip called Answer. Call this layer Action Script, AS. And in that first frame, let's put a stop, S-T-O-P, open close bracket, semicolon. Insert a layer, lock the actions layer, push it up top. Call this H-I-L-O, high-low. Select frame 2. Insert a blank keyframe or keyframe because there's nothing here to bring up. And on this frame right here, we want the text to say higher. So let's keep it the red theme, pick a text up, and write higher. H-I-G-H-E-R, meaning you have to make a higher guess and make sure this is static text. Come to this next box, right click, insert keyframe, just change the higher to lower, L-O-W-E-R. Come here, insert a keyframe, and let's say got it, G-O-T space I-T. And go back to scene 1. Make sure all the layers are locked. Select that sub button layer. Insert a layer. Call this high-low. Or answer. A-N-S-W-E-R. Call that answer. Select that first frame. And now grab this answer and drag it onto the stage. And you'll notice that it's just a circle, because there's nothing in that first frame. Pick up your selection tool, highlight it, open the properties panel, and there's the movie clip. We want to give that same instance name, ANSWER_MC. That's good. And I wanted to fix the box on this. I think it's this frame right here. Yeah, I want to make that box smaller. So I'm picking my free transform tool, highlighting that box, and just making it smaller like this. That's better. So now let's give this a test. Remember, no one can see this. So what's going to be my guess? I'm going to guess 50. And it's going to say lower. And it says lower. So I'm going to go all the way down to 25. It's going to say higher. I'm going to go up to 30. It's going to say higher. I'm going to go to 40. It's going to say lower. And I'm going to put 36 in there. And if it works right, it should say got it. Pretty simple game. I hope you learned something from this tutorial. And I hope you use what you learned.